Spring, the season of rebirth, of sunshine, blossoms, and buried things clawing their way to the surface. While most see spring as a time of light and life, there are those who remember the darkness it can bring too. A delicate green veil covers the land. Birdsong fills the air, a joyful symphony of life renewed. Spring, a time for hope, for new beginnings. But darkness can lurk in the most unexpected places. It can twist beauty into terror, joy into fear. Spring's promise is not always benign. Sometimes it heralds something far more sinister. This is a collection of such stories, true tales of springtime horror, whispered around campfires and passed down through generations. Bailey's Bluff was a place of laughter. Children played amidst vibrant wildflowers. Families picnicked under a bright, welcoming sun. Then one spring, the laughter stopped. 3 children vanished. No trace, no warning. Just an empty swing set swaying in the breeze. Searches yielded nothing. The town held its breath, hope dwindling with each passing day. Spring continued, oblivious to the tragedy. Flowers bloomed, mocking the town's grief with their vibrant hues. Bluebell Woods. A carpet of vibrant blue stretched beneath the trees, bathed in the warm spring sunlight. A group of teenagers ventured in, drawn by the promise of adventure. They joked, their laughter echoing through the trees. Then they heard it. A whisper, faint but distinct. It seemed to come from the woods themselves. They stopped, listening. The whisper grew louder, a chorus of voices, unintelligible yet menacing. Panic set in. They ran, the whispers chasing them, growing louder with every step. They emerged from the woods, breathless and shaken, the whispers fading into the rustle of leaves. No one ever explained the voices in the Bluebell Woods. Some things are best left undisturbed. The maypole stood tall and proud, adorned with colorful ribbons. Laughter filled the air. The celebration of spring was at its peak, but a shadow fell across the festivities. A crimson stain appeared at the base of the maypole, spreading slowly outwards. Panic erupted. The music stopped. The joyous atmosphere evaporated, replaced by a chilling dread. The stain was blood. Its source remained a mystery, but its message was clear. Something evil had tainted their celebration. The maypole, once a symbol of joy, became a chilling reminder of the darkness that can lurk beneath the surface. Section 5. The Scarecrow That Watched. Spring arrived on the farm, a time for planting and new life. A scarecrow stood guard over the fields, a silent sentinel against hungry crows. But this scarecrow was different. Its straw head seemed to turn, its button eyes following those who passed. At first it was dismissed as imagination, but the whispers persisted. The scarecrow was watching, they said. One night, a farmhand swore he saw the scarecrow move. It took a step towards him, its straw limbs rustling menacingly. The next morning the farmhand was gone, the only clue footprints leading towards the fields, stopping abruptly where the scarecrow stood. Section 6. The Spring Equinox Curse. The Spring Equinox. A time of balance, of equal day and night. It marks the moment when the sun crosses the celestial equator, heralding the arrival of spring. For many it is a time of renewal and celebration, a moment to embrace the changing seasons and the promise of warmer days ahead. But in the small town of Ashton Falls, it was a time of fear. The townsfolk would whisper in hushed tones, their eyes darting nervously as the equinox approached. The air would grow thick with tension, and an eerie silence would settle over the town as the sun dipped below the horizon. Legend spoke of a curse, an ancient malevolent force that awakened with the equinox, a dark presence that had haunted Ashton Falls for centuries. The stories were passed down through generations, etched into the very fabric of the town's history. Every spring equinox, a malevolent entity walked the earth, claiming a soul for its own. It was said to be a vengeful spirit, a remnant of a tragic past, seeking retribution for wrongs long forgotten. The entity would emerge from the shadows, its presence felt but rarely seen, a harbinger of doom for those unfortunate enough to cross its path. For generations the townsfolk stayed indoors on that night, doors bolted, windows shuttered. They would huddle together, praying for the dawn to break, for the curse to pass them by. The fear was palpable, a collective dread that bound the community in a shared, unspoken terror. One year, a group of teenagers, scoffing at the old tales, decided to prove the curse was nothing more than superstition. They laughed at the warnings, dismissing the stories as mere folklore. Armed with flashlights and bravado, they ventured into the night, determined to debunk the myth once and for all. They ventured out, their laughter echoing in the stillness of the night. They never returned. The town was plunged into mourning, the loss a stark reminder of the curse's power. The teenagers' disappearance became another chapter in the town's dark history, a cautionary tale for future generations. The curse of the spring equinox was real, a chilling reminder that some legends are rooted in terrifying truths. The townsfolk of Ashton Falls continue to honor the old traditions, their fear a testament to the enduring power of the curse. As the equinox approaches each year, the town holds its breath, hoping that this time the entity will pass them by. Section 7. The House That Breathed. The old Victorian house stood on a hill overlooking the town, its once grand facade now crumbled and weathered, a silent witness to the passage of time. The windows, like empty eyes, stared blankly at the world below, and the paint peeled away in long, sorrowful strips. Spring had breathed new life into the overgrown gardens, with wildflowers blooming in a riot of colors, and vines creeping up the walls as if trying to reclaim the house. Birds sang in the trees, and the air was filled with the scent of fresh blossoms. But the house itself remained lifeless. Its walls, once filled with laughter and love, now echoed with silence. The windows, though open to the spring air, seemed to exhale a cold, unwelcoming breath. Locals whispered of its dark history, tales of tragedy and sorrow that had befallen the previous inhabitants. They spoke of shadows that moved on their own and eerie sounds that filled the night. A family had perished within its walls, their souls trapped forever. It was said that their restless spirits roamed the halls, seeking peace that would never come. The house had become a tomb, a prison for the lost. One spring a new family moved in, unaware of the stories. They were drawn to the house by its charm and the promise of a new beginning. They saw potential where others saw only decay. They were filled with the joy of new beginnings, their laughter echoing through the empty rooms. They painted the walls, planted new flowers, and filled the house with warmth and love. Their laughter echoed through the empty rooms, bringing a sense of life back to the old house. For a while it seemed as if the house had finally found peace. Then, the house began to breathe. At first it was just a feeling, a sense of something watching them, but soon it became more tangible, a cold draft that seemed to come from the very walls. The new owners felt it, a cold draft that seemed to emanate from the walls themselves, carrying with it the scent of decay and despair. It was as if the house was exhaling its sorrow, trying to communicate its pain. Doors slammed shut, lights flickered, and the once warm and inviting home became a place of fear. The walls seemed to close in on them, and the air grew thick with a sense of dread. Whispers seemed to seep from the very foundation of the house. The voices of the past, filled with sorrow and anger, echoed through the halls. The family fled, unable to bear the weight of the house's dark history. Their dream of a fresh start shattered by the chilling reality of the house that breathed. The old Victorian house on the hill remained, a silent sentinel, waiting for the next souls to try and bring it back to life. Section 8. Beneath the Blooming Willow. The willow tree stood by the river, its branches heavy with newly sprouted leaves. The air around it was thick with the scent of fresh growth, a stark contrast to the dark waters that flowed beneath. The tree's presence was commanding, almost as if it were a guardian of the riverbank, watching over the secrets that lay hidden in its shadows. It was a place of peace, where lovers carved their initials into the bark. The tree bore witness to countless whispered promises and stolen kisses, its bark a testament to the love stories that had unfolded beneath its canopy. Yet for all its beauty and serenity, there was an undercurrent of something darker, a sense of foreboding that lingered in the air. But beneath the willow's beauty lurked a terrible secret. The tree's roots seemed to dig deep into the earth, as if anchoring it to the very heart of the land's sorrow. Shadows danced among its branches, and the wind that rustled its leaves often carried with it a mournful sigh, a whisper of the past that refused to be forgotten. Legend told of a young woman, heartbroken by betrayal, who had drowned herself in the river beneath the willow's branches. Her name was Eliza, and her story was one of love and loss, a tragic tale that had been passed down through generations. It was said that her spirit, unable to find peace, remained tethered to the place of her demise, her sorrow forever entwined with the willow's roots. Her spirit, unable to find peace, remained, seeking solace in the embrace of the tree. On quiet nights when the moon cast its silver light upon the river, some claimed to see her figure, a ghostly presence that seemed to merge with the shadows of the willow. Her cries, filled with an unending sorrow, echoed through the night, a haunting melody that sent shivers down the spine of anyone who heard it. Now it is said that on moonlit spring nights her cries can be heard, echoing through the willow's weeping branches. The sound is both beautiful and terrifying, a reminder of the love that once was and the pain that still lingers. Those who are brave enough to venture near the tree on such nights often speak of a feeling of being watched, of an unseen presence that seems to reach out from the darkness. Those who venture too close claim to feel an icy hand brush against their skin, a chilling reminder of the sorrow that lingers beneath the blooming willow. The touch is fleeting, but it leaves a lasting impression, a coldness that seeps into the bones and serves as a stark reminder of the tree's tragic history. The willow, with its beautiful weeping branches, stands as a silent sentinel, guarding the secrets of the past and the restless spirit of Eliza. Section 9. Spring's Dark Embrace. Spring, a season of rebirth, of hope, of new beginnings. But beneath the surface, darkness lingers. These stories serve as a reminder that horror knows no season. It can bloom in the heart of spring, twisting beauty into terror, joy into fear. So as the world awakens and life begins anew, remember the shadows that stretch behind the sunlight. Listen for the whispers on the wind, and beware the dark embrace of spring. For even in the season of rebirth, some things are better left undisturbed.